Darian was very attentive to his guests that were just seated in his section. He immediately greeted them and took their drink orders. He told them about the catch of the day and inquired if they'd like an appetizer. The guests ordered their drinks and ordered an order of fried alligator that Darian quickly brought out to their table. He took their order, refilled their drinks, and watched over them carefully. When they appeared done with their meals, he left the check for $69. Not long after the guests left, and he quickly moved to clear the table and collect the check, only to find they left him no tip. Not even $1 for his hard work and good customer service. Hi, I'm Renee McLain, and I would like to convey to you the need to tip your server and the inconsistencies there are. The inconsistencies being that not every customer tips a minimum of 10% or tips at all. Darian did everything that was expected of him by his employer for his guests. They did not express any dissatisfaction or tell another person of the restaurant staff that anything was wrong. Whatever the issue may have been, Darian, my son, still left that night with no answers and no tip from that particular customer. My nephew and my son's girlfriend are servers at the same restaurant as Darian, and they have told me multiple stories of people walking out on their bills, tipping them nothing, or leaving them $1. The restaurant pays them a salary of only $2.13 an hour. A guest can sometimes be there for an hour or sometimes longer. So you can see that if the customer does not tip them, it impacts them greatly. This happens to them every week. A change has got to occur in order to provide a more predictable income for them and others. Tipping your server has often had many inconsistencies and unfair treatment. Many people believe that tipping is open for interpretation. Kelly Killian indicates in her article, Tipping is Fair Play, that the majority of diners are tipping 15 to 20%. However, 9% of the survey respondents tip anywhere from 0 to 4%. It was unclear the number of people that participated in that survey, but if there were 200 people that visited a single restaurant and only 9% tipped nothing, that is far too many. Kelly Killian also found that consumers tip more if they have extra money at the time or because they may be concerned about their server's pay. This applies to me at some points in my life when I have come into some extra money. Another concerning belief is that tipping is not necessary. Not tipping your server is detrimental to them. One reason people don't tip is their belief that customary tipping hurts the customer. David Fonte writes in his article, Why You Should Stop Tipping Your Server, that if you give a server a tip for less than adequate service, he or she isn't going to be incentivized to do good work. Diners may also feel as though tipping is unfair to the other restaurant employees that are likely earning an hourly wage. Many diners are familiar with how the pay structure works within restaurants, as there are reported 14.4 million restaurant industry employees currently in the workforce as specified by the National Restaurant Association website. PayScale Human Capital reports that the average pay for a restaurant server is $5.01 per hour. While it is evident that tipping is very inconsistent, I would like to communicate how is it affecting the restaurant industry on a larger scale and why there is a need for regularity. The restaurant industry is highly affected by the tips and overall wages of their servers. Corby Coomer states in his article, Tips at the Tipping Point, a New York City restaurant owner reported a chef's shortage, mostly because wages can't keep up with the vocations and are falling farther behind servers' wages. If the servers are earning more than those preparing the food, the restaurant is likely to lose the chefs. Corby Coomer also indicates that restaurants may lose business over their pricing. If they include a tip for the server, the cost of the meal would be greater. Restaurants may be forced to increase meal prices to accommodate wage discrepancies. The recent minimum wage increase in California has caused restaurants to raise their prices and eliminate tipping. Jen Harris reported in the Los Angeles Times, the hourly wage of $10 will rise 50 cents per year to reach $15 an hour by 2022. Seattle has raised prices on meals by 21% to accommodate the raise of minimum wage, up to $15 an hour, reported Jen Harris. There may also be racial discrimination that causes a server to earn lower wages. A study reported by Jacob Klein mentions that black servers received a lower percentage of the customer's bill and tips than white servers. The restaurant industry can definitely be adversely affected by tipping. However, there are a few solutions that can take place to improve the culture. I can provide several possible solutions that may help an evening out how servers are tipped. Restaurants can automatically add a set gratuity to the customer's final bill. This already occurs on tables of 6 or more usually, so why not make this applicable in all cases? The customer would then grow accustomed to the new change and still feel inclined to give more at times. At this time, an average gratuity of 15% is added to a check for large groups. But if the service is good, then customers have left up to 20% of the overall check per TripAdvisor. A recommended set gratuity of 15% would allow for the customer to decide if they would want to be overly generous and give the server more, or stick with the applied adjustment. Public education of how the restaurant pay structures function would provide more insight for people to better understand how important it can be to tip. It is not as common to hear of any public encouragement to tip your food server as it is to tip your shuttle driver or your tour guide. You may have seen signs when on the airport shuttle that reminds you to tip your driver. This could be something that we do in restaurants to place emphasis on the importance of tipping your server. Restaurants could do away with tipping altogether to avoid these inconsistencies. Restaurant owners are already making changes to stop allowing for tips and increasing employee wages to help better level out the wages provided to their employees. Ben Goldberger wrote an article called "Why Some Restaurants Have Declared War on Tipping" and reported that the Union Square Hospitality Group has launched this concept in 13 of their establishments to try to eliminate wage inequality. They have restaurants like Union Square Cafe or North End Grill in New York, where the owner, Danny Meyer, states the customer response was overwhelmingly positive. In closing, the community can do more in providing a more balanced and fair tipping environment for those that serve our meals. Our servers can oftentimes be the reason we return to a restaurant, or they can be what helps make our evening better. The matter of tipping has come to be something I started to take a hard look at after my family started telling me the problems that existed. Until more changes come to restructuring pay or making changes to how we are billed, I urge everyone to consider carefully those that provide a service like that of my son Darian or my nephew Xavery. They work very hard to provide good customer service, ensure the food that is delivered is what it was ordered and has good presentation, and also to ensure that the customer has a good experience at their restaurant. If the service was weak or excellent, a tip should be left and feedback can be provided. If we let the servers know what they did not provide when they did not provide good service, they can work to improve, and if we let them know that they were great, they can work to continue to provide good service. We can exhibit good tipping values every time we are served. Therefore, I say, don't forget to tip your server.